Let's see what happens to the budget line when we change more than one parameter at the same time. As an example, let's say that we start with the case where P1 is 4, X1, and P2 is, let's say, 6, and income is 120. The budget line will be a straight line. The intersection with the y-axis is m over P2, or 120 over 6, which is 20. And the intersection with the x-axis is m over P1, 120 over 4, which is 30. So this is our initial budget line. Now let's say that we double both prices to a new budget line. I'm just going to call that new one. So P1 goes to 8 and P2 goes to 12. And my income stays the same, 120. The new budget line will intersect the y-axis as 120 over 12, or here at 10, and the x-axis at 120 over 8, which is 15. So this is the new budget line when prices have doubled. So instead of doubling prices, let's have the income keeping prices the same. So this will be my new budget line number 2. I don't change prices, but I have my income to 60. The new 2 budget line will intersect the y-axis at 60 over 6, which is 10, and the x-axis at 60 over 4, which is 15. So the new 2 budget line will be exactly the same as the new 1 budget line. Increasing prices by 100% will make the budget line shift inwards in such a way that it is parallel to the old one. So the effect will be exactly the same as reducing income to half its original value. It's not hard to realize that as long as you increase both prices by the same percentage, then the budget line will shift inwards and be parallel to the original one. Let's combine the effect of all 3 changes. So I'm going to increase income by 100% and at the same time increase prices by 100%. So new 3 will have 8x1 plus 12x2 equal to 240. Before you draw this new budget line, just think about it for a second. We have double prices. That will shift the budget line inwards, but we have also doubled income, and that will shift the budget line outwards. Since the increase is the same, we should not expect any change in the budget line. This should be our new, the 3rd budget line. And indeed, it's easy to check that it is. The intersection with the y-axis, 240 over 12, that's 20. 240 over 8, that's 30. Even though it may seem like just a curiosity, increasing prices by 100%, both of them, and increasing income at the same time by 100% will have no change on the budget line. Well, actually turns out to be a very important observation. It is also true even if you make changes which is not 100%. As long as you increase prices and income by the same percentage or decrease them by the same percentage, nothing will happen to the budget line. If you're interested in seeing a formal proof of this, you could do something like this. So this is the budget line. So this is the equation of the budget line that we start with. What does it mean to increase prices by a certain percentage? Well, if I increase price 1, say by 20%, it simply means that I will multiply price 1 by 1.2. Decreasing price 1 by 20%, well, that's the same thing as multiplying it by 0.8. So the new price 1 will be equal to C times P1, where C is an arbitrary constant. If C is 1, it means that I have made no changes to prices. If C is 1.2, I've increased them by 20% and so on. This is the new price. We need to multiply that by the quantity. Then I do exactly the same thing with price 2. The new price 2 will be C times P2. Say 1.2 times P2 if my increase is 20%. Multiply that by x2 equal to, and on the right hand side I will have C times M because I have increased my income by the same percentage. Now this is the equation of the new budget line, and in this equation C is a constant that cannot be 0. So that means that I can divide both sides by C, meaning that all the C's will cancel, demonstrating that this new budget line is indeed equivalent to the one we started with. If you find this proof a little bit non-intuitive and mysterious, here is an alternative way of looking at it. Remember this picture of the original budget line intersecting the x-axis at m over p1 and the y-axis at m over p2, and the slope is minus p1 over p2. So what will happen in this diagram when p1 goes to c times p1, p2 goes to c times p2, and m goes to C times M? Well, just check all these three equations and convince yourself that nothing will happen to them. For example, the intersection with the y-axis will go to C times M over C times P2. Well, that's obviously the same thing as M over P2. So the intersection with the y-axis has not changed. In the same way, the intersection with the x-axis will not change and the slope will not change, meaning that the new budget line is completely identical to the old one.